We're 9 days into 2017. During this time period, just over a week, there have been 64 radical Islamic terror attacks around the world. In 17 countries, 390 people have been killed, 677 others injured. That's about 43 people a day killed by radical Islamic terrorists this year. 4 Israeli soldiers, 3 of them women, mowed down in a deliberate car attack by a radical Islamist Palestinian terrorist on Sunday. We the people, we're told that the man who waged a premeditated terror attack at the Fort Lauderdale airport, killing 5 people, was a madman. He was out of his head. No doubt he was, but the media's failing to report that Esteban Santiago paid a visit to the FBI office in Anchorage, Alaska a few months ago in November and reported to them that he was hearing voices in his head that were telling him to fight for ISIS. He claimed the CIA was controlling his mind, forcing him to watch ISIS recruiting material. This seems like a very incredibly critical part of the story. The gun is not the problem here. Even the mental illness isn't the whole story. He may have been vulnerable to ISIS propaganda because of his mental illness, but it seems to me that he was inspired to wage this attack to kill Americans in cold blood because of videos from the Islamic State. And here's the thing. There were 2,477 terror attacks last year in 2016 that had one thing in common. 61 countries were attacked, 21,256 people killed, 26,727 more people injured. Firing squads, mortar shells, suicide bombers, trucks, knives, guns, rockets, slashing, stabbing, stoning, burning, bombing, you name it. Many of these attacks were dissimilar in methodology. 28 people killed in Baghdad on New Year's Eve, blown up while they shopped on a commercial street. 30 people killed in Syria on Christmas Day while they tried to escape the war zone. 21 people, including 5 children and 4 women, were shot at close range on Christmas Eve in Aleppo. 11 people crushed by a truck at a Christmas market in Berlin the week before Christmas. 52 people blown up in Yemen the day before. 27 Coptic Christians killed at church by a suicide bomber in Egypt 1 week before that. 57 people killed by 2 schoolgirls in suicide bombs at a market in Nigeria. On Thanksgiving Day, 97 people are blown up by a truck bomb in Iraq. A pregnant woman and 16 other people are massacred in Nigeria a week earlier. 52 dancers were blown up in Pakistan for dancing. In early November, 300 victims of beheadings were found in a mass grave in Iraq. In Germany, a nail-packed suicide bomb is set off outside a wine bar. A so-called refugee with an axe attacks people on a train. In France, a police officer is stabbed, a priest has his throat slit while saying mass, and 86 people are mowed down with a truck while celebrating Bastille Day. In England, an American woman is stabbed to death. In Canada, a student is stabbed to death while debating Islam. Here in the United States, 11 people injured in Columbus, Ohio, 8 stabbed in St. Cloud, Minnesota, 29 injured by shrapnel in New York City from a pressure cooker bomb. In Virginia, a man and woman were stabbed by a man yelling praise to Allah. 49 people killed and 53 people injured at a gay nightclub in Orlando. 4 more people injured at a restaurant in Columbus, Ohio by a man enraged by an Israeli flag. In Philadelphia, a man shoots a police officer 3 times in the name of Islam. Yet all these attacks have one thing in common, one thread which ties them all together, one motive underlying each and every one. And until the leaders of the free world, our own president included, recognize that methodology is not the problem, have the courage to condemn the ideology of radical Islam, we're going to get our hearts broken over and over again, just like we did last year. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. Also, if you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. Don't forget, guys, if you miss an episode of Tipping Point, you can now go back and watch the archives up to 2 weeks ago on cloudtv.com. There are 2 weeks worth of episodes saved there, cloudtv.com. In the meantime, catch us live here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and until then, have a good night.